or on Axis, or if they'll try to adopt a more sedentary approach to this map.
Do we think that the next boss match will be on this map, and if so, do either of you have any plans, any little gems for your, or are you taking notes?
No, I'm definitely taking notes here.
And if I had any plans, I would not be sharing them in open company. Neve, are you recording?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm curious, for the third round, is it just simply S4 is going to go back? If there is a third round, S4 is going to go back on Allies?
I think we're going to have to come down to it when it comes to it.
Yeah. Well, it just seems like the Allies do have an advantage for this.
I think maybe because S4 won the coin toss, then S2 gets to pick.
Yeah, possibly.
That would make
or maybe
sense.
we do another coin toss.
And actually, if you take a look at what AITs they've chosen, it's pretty much what S2 had on the first round, and vice versa.
Actually,
Yeah,
almost.
Plus an
Allies
MG.
do have a machine gun this time.
Oh, I was referring to S4. They have the exact same equipment that S2 took their first time.
I like that because it's good to see that both squads have a good understanding of the streams for each side. So it's going to kind of come down to how each squad can pull off the different type of team composition.
Now I'm curious whether S4 will roll with 2 fire teams or go with their 3 fire team approach from last time. That 3-man, 3 fire team approach served them very well. It gave them a group, essentially a distraction, a base of fire, and a maneuver element, while S2 was just trying to cover as much ground as they could, and essentially failed because they couldn't cover everything.
And also, I feel like S2 needs to be much more aggressive this time around, because last round they played really, really defensively.
Well, this time they have the advantage of equipment. They have those shiny, nice M1 brands and carbines, so they should definitely feel a little more inclined and a little safer to push up when they have a semi-automatic rifle versus a 5-round bolt action.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a little, S2's doing a bit different strategy because they got more people on the north side leaning towards arches. Maybe some of those guys are going to go to the middle area, but they've only left 3 guys for the warehouse side, including their machine gun. So it's looking like they're being more defensive on the south and putting more of their force on the north.
What I've noticed about this map is that there's these little niche corridors that you can kind of see down with an MG and hold a whole flank just by holding a corner through different archways and etc. Just holding down a whole street, which is, I believe, what PFC Atkinson was trying to do last round when, at the beginning, when the smoke was blowing.
It seemed, because that held down at least 3 members from S4 while preventing any assault towards the arches for quite a bit of time.
I'm curious if S2 is going to attempt the same thing on the other side from this little berm at Delta 8 keypad 6-ish.
Are you referring to the berm straight out of spawn?
Yes.
Let's see here. What kind of sightlines does that have? I doubt that they could, but through those houses there's just too many obstructions. It's plausible, but at least from my opinion it wouldn't be very practical.
My guess on the MG placement is either there or either the Echo 7 keypad 8 building or keypad 2 building for allies.
It seems like for S2 that they're sending Atkinson over to the south by himself from looking at the placement of their two groups there. Oh, no, looks like someone's going over there to go with Atkinson
Yeah, they
to
got
the
some
south.
going south. I think a really underrated area of this map is this really large blue building between Arches and Warehouse.
The... Oh, what is that? Looks more like
E6.
two connected
Keypad,
buildings at the Café de Normandy.
I think, yeah, that one. Those two buildings right there. I think that's really underrated. Like, if the Axis can get in there, it helps them a lot more, I think, with having, like, a wider defense against the Allies.
I know S4 occupied Café de Normandy last time, so they might understand that it holds a lot of significance for having control of the center of the map, but I don't know if they're going to be willing to risk moving an element up to that position. There's no any escape route. Any route to escape from that building is essentially suicide as long as S2 is in control of the warehouse.
Yes, it's definitely not something like you don't want to put a fire team in there. It's good at most like one or two guys. But if you just throw one guy in there, it gives you like a lot of control of the map.
S4 is definitely going with their three fire team approach again. That served them very well the first round, and now they might be looking to repeat their successes. Oh, there it is. Corporal Miner has a 42. This is going to be... With Corporal Miner's reputation, I'm expecting this to go very well for S4 right now, this round. Oh,
yeah.
They have... Oh, sorry.
I was just saying, like you mentioned earlier, like S4 hasn't had a dedicated machine gunner in a while, but Corporal Miner, even though he is a squad leader, if he picks it up, he can do a lot of damage with it. I've seen it myself.
And on the other side, that is, I'm assuming... Yep, that is PFC Sherman with the other 42. Okay, here we go again. It seems that S4, like last round, is going to be going with two elements, two machine gun teams to pin the enemy, and then one maneuver element. There's a team in the middle with their Fallschirmjäger conveyor and an MP40. They're likely...
SC's doing something interesting. They're seeming to hold a couple guys back. They're trying to get some picks of Axis just running into the Arches.
They may be trying to play this a little more reservedly. Reservedly? Yes. They may be trying to be a bit more reserved this round.
You see, Allies, they've taken that cafe de Normandy building. Oh. Wow, okay. Well, we had a much quicker first blood this time.
Again,
And that's squad versus
And that's
squad leader versus squad leader.
Corporal Miner, he can be devastating when he gets a hold of one of those machine guns. Let's see if Atkinson can hold up the mantle with a... Can retake the mantle of the best machine gunner in the round with that 30 cal.
That's tough for S2 because Sergeant Pierce isn't just a squad leader. He's one of like the most skilled guys in the squad too. So
He's very skilled, and I think this round is going to play out a lot differently now that Sergeant Spears is...
We have two Axis. We have two Axis flanking the MG over by warehouse.
oh,
Two Axis
wow,
riflemen. We got
they-
one allied down. The MG's been down.
And another loss for the Allies. And S2 is just absolutely getting devastated in the early rounds of this match. And there goes another one, PFC Yard.
That is a distinct hit for S2. That means that some of their most experienced men are already down, being Yard and Sergeant Spears. They're extremely good at what they do, and without them, and the other losses that they've sustained,
And another loss for S2. That's 8 for allies alive and 4 for... Oh, I said that wrong. 8 for Axis, 4 for allies. And another one!
They
It's
are,
it's looking pretty grim for us too.
this round has gone, honestly, I think this round has gone very different from how any of us expected. S2 was, the allies were a favorite just because of their close quarters equipment, but now the
Yeah, S4
Axis are turning it.
Yeah, S4 definitely, they got a little more aggressive machine gun placements this round. And that gave them a huge advantage. I mean, look, we got Corporal Miner here, already got 2 kills. Sherman's got another 2 with his machine gun. It's really the 2 squad leaders on S4 with the machine guns that are kind of carrying this round.
It seems like it's going to be a decisive victory for S4 just by the looks of things.
Never underestimate a smaller force, especially when they're desperate. This round could still go either way, but it is looking pretty rough for us too.
Well, the loadout right here looks like we got Thompson and 2 Brand left on allies. All the heavies are down.
Strickland is still up, I believe.
Let me just get a check on
Yeah,
that.
he's on the Thompson.
Yeah, PFC Strickland, Private Cooper, and Private Goloski are the only ones alive on
Oh, we might
allies.
have a fire point right here.
Ooh.
His Axis down.
Looks like Strickland getting a kill on D. McPeak. They coming around the corner, just taking out
That is...
the other McPeak.
Might be a comeback right here. See him Strickland can carry it.
Now that was right. That was definitely not the S4 assault team. They've just taken out...
It wasn't the McPeaks.
They've just taken out 2 riflemen. I'm wondering if they were guarding one of the machine gunners. Not certain, though.
Hey, McPeak, could you give us some insight what you guys were doing over there?
Yeah, the 2 riflemen.
Yeah,
They may or may not have been McPeaks.
like what were you guys doing over there? What was your strategy?
We first found.
Oh,
Well, we
here's...
first found their first machine gun house, so we went took that out, and then we took care of the flank. Eventually, they came back and picked their, we got the chopper. I think.
Now there's a smoke grenade going in there towards the... I'm not exactly sure what this building's called. I'm just going to refer to it as a... looks like a sort of manor house. But I'm wondering if the Allies... why there would be a smoke grenade here. Oh, okay. That makes sense now. They were throwing the smoke grenade so they can get into the Café de Normandie. I'm thinking they may try to push on and grab the arches, because I do not know if the rest of S4 knows where Strickland is now, as well as the other 2 riflemen.
Unfortunately, I'm unable to find them because it's only let me view Howell and Corporal Miner.
Yep, that's
We know who's alive.
spectating bugs.
If you want to know who's alive, just type /alive in all chat. If you're in spectator.
In all chats? According to
It's a
chats?
3v6.
Yeah, if you're in spectator.
Even though S2's down, they're definitely in a better spot this
thank you.
round than last round.
And it look.
They have the ability to maneuver a lot better.
They have those riflemen they have. They're more capable in close quarters with those M1 Garands than S4's Guardian Car 98s.
Yep.
And it looks like S2. Looks like S2 is making a play on the warehouse right now.
Oh, now that, to be honest, I'm thinking that is something they maybe should have done earlier, since the warehouse is, that's the linchpin if the Allies were to any large pushes, that would have been the place to jump off from. But pushing for the warehouse at this point in time may be too late.
Looks like that's PFC Strickland moving into the warehouse. Warehouse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're staying out of the cap, but they're definitely trying to make this southern flank.
And it looks like they're gonna try making a play across the road. They're just being very cautious about that, seeing if anyone's looking down the road here.
It doesn't seem. I don't think there's anyone because no one's in the arches. Oh, someone's moving actually right now.
That's
But
one
thing
thing.
is-
Sorry.
Well, the guys in the arches, they're doing interior defense. They're not working on it all close out.
And they're making their cross. They're crossing the street right now.
I do.
Oh, and he just got taken out. Who?
Oh, okay, they did make
That's the last game.
And looks like Strickland is popping a smoke grenade on the road there
Now,
and making a cross.
he is the unit. I believe this might be his actual first time. No,
This
his
is one of his
second
first
out.
drills.
He just got out of BCT. Yeah.
his second time working with S2 ever.
He's
Let's
got,
see
I
if
think,
he
20
can,
hours on each.
if he can try to turn this around for S2 with Strickland here. Again, it's looking grim. If they can just... Oh, no. They have a machine gun covering that exit. So they are trapped in that building.
Yeah,
As they look outside. Oh,
yeah. If he peeks, he's gonna definitely be eliminated that machine gun.
no. Yeah,
Yep.
that's
All right.
Strickland here.
Yeah. It looks over. Yeah, he's trapped. There's no exit for him.
He's got bullets and machine guns looking at him like.
Oh,
Oh,
Get it out, but-
that was very risky.
that was very ballsy move on Strickland's part there.
I mean, if he wants to.
Oh, I lost him.
Run right here. He has. To, yeah, he just has to be risky. You can't. Something like this, a situation like this. You can't just sit there.
Oh.
My gosh.
Now
I did
this,
not realize.
Ships
those guys-
passing in the night, man.
I do
He's got to
not...
hear him.
I do
He has
not.
to hear him.
Yeah, but I do not know if he knows about the upstairs, the route in the next building through the second story. It doesn't look like it. It looks like he's really trying to get out here, but... Oh, I think he's finally given up on it. It's just not going to happen leaving through the west exit. That machine gun, he's not getting out through the west alive, but he has made it past back over by the Opal, and see what happens with that automatic rifleman. Oh, wow, he is just carefully sneaking past. I wonder if anyone from S4 even saw him leave.
I don't think so.
Machine gun's looking at the same spot, so no one's communicated it. Otherwise, you think this machine gun would maybe move around.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone's wise to Strickland's movements here.
He may have lost Golaski and Cooper, but the one thing he has going for him right now is that he's just one man, can move around easily, undetected. He's got a lot of experience. I guess this is more than one thing. And he has misled S4, that should think that they have him cornered, when he's moving freely. He may be even moving towards arches. This is going it's not going well for S2, but right now, it could be going a lot worse. He could still be trapped in that house, and he could be dead.
Looks like Strickland here sees an Axis helmet, but there's actually no one there. It's just the corpse. But it's really, really deceiving looking from his angle.
Spell doom for S2 if he gives away his position.
Mm-hmm. But yes, it does look really, really deceiving from his angle.
Above that Axis helmet, though, there is an Axis MG on the 3rd floor.
Yeah. And it looks like it's Corporal Minor.
So where is Rick? I even lost him. I
He's
didn't see
in
where he snuck
the
off to.
Cafe de Normandie. Oh,
Oh.
I have lost him again.
All the way back there. Oh no, he's still in there. He's in the bottom floor of the southern sector of the building.
He is very carefully peeking. I think he wants to try to use the background to get into the arches. But
Hey,
again,
you really can't see out that doorway at the end. And no one else is looking this way.
There is an Axis soldier looking at that doorway Strickland was previously in.
he's
Oh,
making
he's
his
gonna
move.
move.
Oh, and the Axis soldier moved. Just as he was...
Oh, wow. Now
Taking one out.
he has
Got one
taken
more.
one out, but
Okay, Billy backed off with the grenades.
he's also given away his position. S4 now knows that he is in arches.
Taking out another.
Let's see if he can actually bring home the victory. Oh,
How much
there's...
time is up left?
S4 is moving fast. They're converging right now. There's at least one guy moving on the arches.
And if he's, as long as he...
Fire.
Indeed, but if he can focus on internal defenses here, they may actually walk right into his fire.
What Strickland actually needs here is not internal defense. He needs to win.
Oh, and he took another one.
He's slowly, very
No one's
quickly
watching.
whittling him
Yeah.
down. He's
None
brought
of the actors are
S4
watching that.
down
How much
to
time is
3
that left?
men.
There's about a minute.
Alright, and it's down to 3-1. They only have PFC Strobel, PFC Sherman, and Corporal Minor up.
That's 2 machine gunners. That will be very difficult to combat something like this, something as mobile and as quick as a submachine gun unless they're set up and catch them in the open. Oh, yes, there's...
Another one down. My goodness.
Looks like Sherman's down.
If those two actual soldiers can get
Language. I am recording.
then they can hold them
Well, that
off.
was
If they
a
keep
dumb
splitting
thing.
up, it's going to be tough for them.
How much time is up remaining?
Oh, and that's game.
Did we win?
Oh,
By
so
sheer...
yeah, time right now.
Wow.
By time.
By time and by one body, that is
2 bodies.
S4 victory, one more than the Allies had. That means that, wow, S4 won by the skin of their teeth.
It was definitely a good
That was an
comeback.
exciting round.
We made some dumb mistakes.
Strickland, he played that really smart at the end there. He was able to he got lucky and was able just to slip through. But, I mean, in the end, you guys won. S4 made a big enough advantage early on in the round. I think it goes without saying, like, Sergeant Spears had been on ELOA for at least a month before this. So I know S2, they haven't been able to practice as a full squad in a while.
I'm just gonna drag my squad up to this channel.
Briefing after I'm gonna give a short briefing after everything's all cleared up for this stuff.
Are you still recording, Neve?
Yep.
So what's your language, gentlemen?
Yeah, I don't need a repeat of getting chewed out.
Alright. Oh, it's 4, you're already on that. I'm so happy.
So, Corporal Minor, who did you have leading your 3rd fire team?
You
Which
had
one?
yeah, there's 3 dudes. It's not like I assigned the name.
Me or DJ.
Well, I assumed,
Was it
Corporal Minor-
the arches element, warehouse element, or the center element?
well, both rounds you split S4 up into three three-man fire teams. I assume two were led by yourself and Sherman,
Yep.
but I'm wondering who led which other fire team
Actually,
each
no.
of the
The
rounds.
first round, I had trouble leading one, Jim leading the other, and myself
Oh.
being the center one. The second round, it was me and Sherman because we both MG qualify, and then struggle for the center element. So it kind of split up.
That's the only way we could get the AI teams to really work out, so we could kind of spread them out the first round. And then the second round, we tried keeping it how S2 did because they didn't add any classes or anything.
I think it's interesting to point out how you guys basically swap the team compositions each time you're on Axis. Like the first round, you guys had no, S4 had no machine guns on Allies, and S2 had 2 machine guns. But on the second round, when you guys were on Axis, you did the same thing. You took 2 machine guns, which I think was really smart because that ended up pretty much winning you guys around on Axis.
Well, me and Lyle both figured if we could keep them away from arches and warehouse, keep them on their side of the map, we'd win a long-range fight with the cars over the Grand. So that was our goal with the MGs, was just to keep them away from our guys.
But bolts versus semis at close range is not a fun time.
Hey,
Now-
S4, it looked right with 6 points.
Now for both of, well not both of, but for the first round, where you had a lot of submachine
Back up.
guns and automatic rifles, was your goal to get in close and try to essentially wipe them out in close quarters?
Well, the goal for me with that I set of plan was because I wanted a bar on the left and the right to be, basically it's the base of fire elements, because I knew as far as I'm concerned how S2's fought in the past or have performed in the past, that they're extremely aggressive, and I knew that if I had a good spread out of automatic capabilities of being able to suppress, that we might be able to hinder their ability to get into our face and fuck us up. Pardon my language. Ooh, sorry about that. So that was the thing. I originally had the 2 Tommy guns for the center element to be a rapid reaction force, but Sherman suggested against that, so I assigned one to the warehouse element and brought a rifleman to our side. So that kind of helped there. So that was kind of the goal. I just wanted the bars on both sides, because as far as I'm concerned, warehouse and the arches had good fields of fire for a lot of stuff. And the center points for both were really meant to hold for the time being, but also respond in case one flank was getting hit harder than the other.
So your northern assault on arches, that was an actual attempt to assault arches rather than just keep their machine gunner focused on you.
Well, it kind of turned to keep the machine gun focused on, because the goal was, I told them straight up, like, be aggressive in the beginning, and as soon as you get close to objective, ease up, because as far as I'm concerned, S2 would do the same. So that was the goal, was like, okay, if S2's going to, because I'm thinking, like, Spear, obviously Spear's performed in the past, and I was assuming that he was going to do the same thing. So I was like, okay, we got to be aggressive. They just got unlucky, ran into the machine gun. Every other element did fine. So they held up, and they acted out enough that the SMG kept them interested, so that way we could eventually put a bullet in them.
Okay. Now,
I'm assuming you guys want to debrief here, so we won't hold you for too much longer.
Yeah, and also, we need to wrap this up soon, because I gotta go to my own squad drills.
same here.
Alright, that being said, S4. S4. You guys who might be AFK. Present arms. Ready. Hey, Myron, no bayonets.
I know. It's almost like getting a chew out in the beginning of the round was good enough fixer effort.
Aim.
Remember, you stay aimed in the entire time you rotate.
Yeah, it's a graphical glitch.
That's a work in progress. Fire. Fire. That didn't even work. Fire. Reed, stop pointing this straight at the sky. Reed, you're like pointing straight up, dude. Fire.
Remember, 1-1000, 1-1000, 1-1000.
On the D.
We apologize for showing this, dude. Fire.
Why?
Fire.
Your DI.
We are
Pardon
working
my
on
language, but
for
your DI is in this panel right now, watching you. Why are you hurting
fire.
me so much?
To be fair, you were our DI.
Yeah,
Oh my
why?
God.
Yeah.
Hey, this is just a tip while this teaching